I'm Captain Foley. This is Trekyards. You're back. I got a co-host friend.
Commander Coggins. Hello. This is real. You're here watching Trekyards. Believe it.
Well, I don't know. Could be a dream. Just saying.
Or are we both a bit too old to know what we're doing? And I'm Captain Foley. Welcome back to Trekyards, the weekly sci-fi show looking at any ship from fleet's space. No? I'm senile. I don't know, Stuart. Which way around is this? We can't be both. Or can we? Stuart, what are we doing?
Well, today we're going to look at, obviously, Picard Episode 1, but there's a lot of evidence sprinkled throughout that perhaps, just perhaps, Picard has some imaginary friends. Whether it be from aromatic syndrome, just old age, or some other reason, there's certain people that might not exist. We're going to take a look at that today. The most obvious thing is the whole explosion on the rooftop with Dodge.
Pretty big explosion, I think fair to say, Stuart.
Yeah, I think he'd probably be dead, or in, have some broken bones.
Burns,
perhaps. Yeah. So, anyway, after that though he wakes up on his couch in his vineyard, and he's like, "Oh, you took a nasty, you had a bad knock," and he immediately says Dodge is dead, and but the question is, why is he here?
Why? When? What?
When? What? Why is he not in a hospital? Why was he not questioned by Starfleet security? Why is he just at his vineyard with these two Romulans that also might not exist, because no one else has interacted with them in the whole course of the show? The guy said to Picard, "Yeah, I talked to her. She said she wasn't going to mention your departure from Starfleet."
That's true.
She did. And they were not in the room when that was being filmed. They were in the kitchen by themselves. Do these people even exist? Are they in Picard's head? There's a whole lot to talk about here. So I kind of just spewed it all over you. Let's start talking.
We do that sometimes. No, I mean, when I first watched it, the transition point between explosion and then you get a bit of a mental flashback, sort of quick cuts, and he's sitting on his couch, and it's the weirdest cut possible. It's a sort of cut where you don't know the Trek world, because, and then while you were saying the intro, I thought, well, instantly, if Beverly's on Earth and beaming, because they beam between countries in seconds in this episode, if Beverly's on Earth, she would actually say, "Oh, wait, Picard got injured, holy hell, I'll go help him." Like, if she's not busy, I mean, he's Admiral Picard. He was just on galactic news, I suppose. So to not end up in a hospital or on it doesn't even on a ship, but just on a hospital, and no one seemed to care, because the only way you can sort of play the scene if it's real is that he was on the floor, hurt to some degree, either very little or a lot. If he was a lot hurt, they healed him there or at a hospital, but he was unconscious. If he was hurt little, whoever found him after the explosion just said, "Oh, it's Picard. We'll take him straight home." Zzz. He's on the seat now. Goodbye. Zzz. And that was the scene. Like, there's a massive gap here of realism which is completely devoid, and it you can kind of ignore it if you're watching it the first time. Especially if you're not a Star Trek fan, you just think, "Oh yeah, they brought him home." And that explosion, I mean, he flew many feet. I mean, his legs should be broken. I mean, he's completely fine beyond a slight, oh no, Daj was the one that got healed. He didn't get healed on screen.
Well, the even stranger thing is, the video feeds only saw him running, nobody else.
Yes. Now we have the dialogue for that, because it's to be specific here is good.
They said you were alone when they found you on the roof. They said there was no one else on the security feed but you, that you were running. She could have had a cloaking device, and that's why we didn't see her on the property feeds. And I didn't notice this the first time, but the property feeds refer to the cameras at the vineyard when she left at supposedly 5 a.m. or whatever. I didn't hear that property feeds. I thought he was talking about the security feeds. Anyway, neither here nor there. Yeah, you were right. I know. And then talking about the cloaking device again, yeah, maybe it activated automatically when she was in danger. But it doesn't make any sense. You're telling me on the security feed, all you see is him come up the stairs, run. Now, does the feed cut out while the fight goes on? And just like you said, maybe a dampening field. Maybe it cuts from him running to all of a sudden just being on the ground.
Well, they
because
they would say the feed cut out. I mean, that's a different contextual dialogue than we didn't see them. If there was nothing on the feed, you'd say if it went blurry, you know.
Well, that confused me the first time. Like, you see Picard running around, ducking behind the thing. Do you not see the laser blast, the explosions? You just see him, and then all of a sudden he just flown back. Wouldn't that raise some questions if you didn't see an explosion? So I don't know if that's the case, if all that, the Romulans and Dahj and everything else was cloaked, and he wasn't, or if it just the feed cut out. The feed cutting out makes more sense. So they see him come up the stairs and run, hide behind a thing maybe, and then all of a sudden the feed cuts out, and next thing he's on the ground. That would make a lot of sense, but they would still have questions.
Now, technically, could you argue that Picard didn't take away for the second that it's all a dream, whatever? Did Picard actually see the people? Because Dahj takes him behind a bit of block, you know, a bit of building. She then fights them all. He doesn't really. You don't really cut back to him, but he could be looking at her fighting nobody. She fights them, that's the scene. Then one falls down and he sees the ears, but at that point his helmet's off. Now, could they have been actually cloaked, but we just don't get a sense of cloaked? As if in the Insurrection we just see the red suits from Dahj's perspective. Could they have been cloaked the entire time, which means no one on the feeds except at the end the dude's face, and that was so close to the explosion they missed it? I mean, you kind of assume because there's no visual sense of they're cloaked, the idea of they're cloaked makes no sense because they're obviously not cloaked, we can all see them. But could that be a filmic conceit of, well, we're seeing what Dahj sees, and that's why it's kind of special?
But it wouldn't matter. If you're watching that feedback, it would just seem so weird. Him, like, dodging things and then all of a sudden just being thrown back.
Yeah, because they'd ask questions. I mean, they didn't. They said what happened, but they didn't say, why was there gunfire? Why did we detect energy readings of weapons? Why did we, things you want readings?
And more importantly, why didn't the shuttle that was beside the building see them and stop to help? Could be that they were paying attention to something else. Fine. Or they could just see an old man on a rooftop.
Yeah.
Standing there. Because we see a shuttle actually come up in the one scene. Like, right?
Yep.
Well within sight of all these people shooting.
Yeah. And because you know how in Star Trek 6, the alarm goes off when they fire a phaser. I'm pretty sure in San Francisco, near big buildings, like there'd be some sort of... Like, you can't just fire a phaser, because this is peaceful, utopian world. A phaser is not... it's like in England, we ban guns. If one gunshot goes off anywhere in any town, people will be like, oh my god, because it's a thing. And if we could detect that, it'd be a thing. It doesn't happen any day, any whatever. So you'd think the shuttle would be like, beep, 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 we're detecting weapons fire. Even if they're civilians, they'd be like, oh hell, cool security. Like, there shouldn't be any level of, And even if, like we said, the Romulan suits are dampening their ability to be detected, not cloaked, but some sort of you just see Picard, does that interfere with seeing the bolts, which are quite a long way from him? It obviously didn't stop the explosion from being seen, but then you'd have like the readings of the explosion and what caused it, and the energy fire, maybe the people. I mean, these
and all the resulting damage. All those bolts hitting the concrete would leave marks.
Yep.
So there'd be blaster marks, there'd be explosion marks. It just, a lot of it doesn't make any sense.
And given that a gun exploded, it wasn't like a torpedo. You would assume it would give off some sort of specific explodable... Like, they can detect... That was clear weapons fire in the spaceship setting, so I'm sure they could detect the power signature residue from an explosion that's distinctly this race.
Now, the thing is...
Okay.
If he was imagining all this, he ran up the stairs, was out of breath, because even halfway up the stairs, he's like, I can't make it. She's like, come on. Gets up the stairs, starts running, as they say they saw him do, and falls and hits his head.
Ooh.
And that's why they're like, oh, well, you had a nasty knock.
Yep.
You're just back home. Nothing happened. There's no reason for questioning.
Yeah.
That seems a lot more reasonable. Plus, these two being here, them not interacting with anybody prior to this, it just feels all very off to me.
It feels so isolated and as if it's been edited cleanly. That there's a way of a separation. No, actually, I love that. You can even argue that he's running towards that, he's being sort of pulled by Dahj, but not really, and he just falls onto that concrete bit. Yeah, I mean, being so uninjured feels disingenuous to the amount of explosion. Now, obviously, he's quite far away, but if the shockwave blasts you that far, I mean, obviously, he's the hero of the tale, so he's not going to get stabbed in 1,000 places. but to have that be a distinct scene and the moment you kill your heroines, at least sort of some heat burn, maybe some radiation, or a broken back or whatever. And while it could be healed, from not to wake up in Starfleet Medical at the very least, just feels so bizarre. Because why would the Doctor on site not wait to see if he was okay? This is Admiral Picard, one of the heroes of the Federation, one of the top 100 captains ever in commission, who then became an admiral. Or I guess you could argue he's slightly looked down upon now because he left Starfleet after there was this, he's not untarnished now, that he sort of didn't finish his mission that he set out to do because Starfleet gave up. We don't know the full story yet, but that should have been the end of part 1. Killing your main Daesh character, Picard could be injured. Part 2, wakes up in medical, Beverly's there, nurse Ogawa. That would be a fun reference. Dr. Ogawa of Starfleet Medical. Bring her back for a cameo. Cool.
Maybe also none of this happened because the Romulans knocked Picard out, implanted this fake memory that Dodge is in fact dead, and so there was kind of an clandestine thing going on, but not what he remembers in his brain. What we saw, because Dodge is now effectively dead after the first episode. It's well, damn it! It's just I like Dodge. Sure, we get Soji, but how much does she like Dodge? I don't know. But what if Dodge comes back and it's just oh well, but they basically kidnapped her and implanted this false memory so Picard wouldn't go looking for her.
Well, guess
he still had the necklace. That's the thing that links it to reality. We got to keep that in mind. He still has her necklace at his vineyard, which he gives to the lady.
Yes.
So, and then he learns about the twins. So now he's going to go after Soji because he thinks Dodge is dead. But if Dodge is still alive, she might be able to come back into the picture. So, a lot of possibilities.
But he didn't show the necklace to anybody until after he got blown apart. Now, obviously, the Daj was interacted with the Romulans, so Daj has to be part of the delusion, obviously, because they interacted together. Those four, healed the wound and such, but it doesn't go outside of that. But yeah, if the Daj thing was all a figment, was a implanted memory, then they just placed him on a sofa. And the necklace is right there. And he takes the necklace, because that's what the journey starts. I mean, talk about giving him a motivation. Seeing your Data's daughter get killed, I mean, is that not going to draw you into doing something really epic? So maybe that could all be part of the plan to create this scenario. In Avengers 1, Coulson dying, they could have told him he was alive, but it kept, it's not quite the same situation, but his death made them become the Avengers as a team. So Daj's death makes him go out, because only after her death does he say, I was waiting to die. That's the catalyst. And we know, 30 years ago, LaForge had implanted fake memories of Risa to do a secret mission to kill somebody.
Yep.
It was done. Romulans. Exactly. Decades ago, so the tech is readily available, easy.
Yep.
I mean, it was with his, to be fair, with his, bio thing. But, 3 decades, long time. They developed a lot in that time. I'm not worried about that. But, that is a hard thing to if you pay off that half the first episode didn't happen. And to pay off his aromatic syndrome. Because he's got it built in. The aromatic syndrome is a storyline they already went through in All Good Things. But to have that happen to our hero would be quite sad. It's tricky, but that's not good though if this is all just we're putting into it. If this much evidence is in the first episode without any sort of reaching, that really just comes down to some weak editing points, some lack of linking connective tissue, and some fragmented dialogue stuff. So yeah, there's a theory, guys. There's the Picard is crazy theory. It's kind of like the indoctrination theory for Mass Effect. It's it could totally work, but it was never their intention. Oops.
Yeah. Or the Dallas treatment. The whole series is going to go off, and it's just going to... He dies in his sleep. This is his last, hurrah in his head.
Great.
It's all just a dream.
But what isn't a dream is our episodes on the Picard episode. We look at them every single week, every single day, and live. So tune in for our lives every day, or most days, and just watch these videos. We put a lot of time, thought, and effort into them, and we think they are interesting and we do these more, I think, any other channel on YouTube, looking at all the different things. So please do tune in and enjoy.
Yeah, and if you want to help us out, you can do so. Just join our live conversations and super chat us some dollars, or join our Patreon. Links down below. Don't forget all the cool merchandise down there, and check out or send us PayPal. Or go to trekyards.com and click the donate button. Lots of ways to help us out, and just make sure that you share it around, because not everybody might not have heard of us, and we would love to reach a larger audience. So share and help us out if you can. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Cockins. Or are we?
And this was definitely real. You just watched this. This wasn't in your imagination. Check your YouTube logs.